Welcome to our quarterly content training for quarter two, which runs from October 6th until December 21st. This session is specifically designed for PK-4 teachers who are using the Pre-K On My Way curriculum. If you are using Frog Street 3s and our Pre-K 3 teacher, that quarterly content training already passed and was on Tuesday, but there's an asynchronous course available in Cornerstone for you. So again, thanks so much for being here. My name is Jessica Adam. I'm the Pre-K Instructional Strategy Coordinator for Early Learning for Dallas ISD. I've asked Julie Four, our Pre-K Lead Specialist, to help facilitate today. So she'll be reading things from the chat. She'll be monitoring the chat to make sure any questions get answered as well. I write curriculum, and it's my goal to make teaching easier for you, to provide you with like ready-made pre-planned centers that are aligned with the themes and with the pre-K guidelines. And I'm going to give you a little preview of the upcoming themes, as well as outline some changes that have happened. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, or you can add them to our live Q&A document if you're chat shy. Okay, if you could change one thing about the Curriculum Central resources, what would it be and why? I'd like for you to drop that in the chat.
She said maybe more specifics on science and social study objectives. See, and then Ms. Cervantes said, I actually like the way resources are organized this year more than ever. Ms. Burns said, some lessons need higher quality pictures. We can definitely work on that.
You mean like center activities?
You know, sometimes it's hard to find pictures, and then the pixels, making sure that they're clear. So we can take up that for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I will answer that first one because we do get that a lot about people needing more specific lessons on science and social studies. And we know that the scholastic curriculum does not focus on science and social studies as much because it's embedded throughout. But it is a future goal to add some more specific guidance, more specific lessons targeting those areas.
Some higher order questions for read aloud.
Actually, funny you mentioned that. We're going to talk about that today.
Someone mentioned, I know, maybe having an actual schedule, because I know we put a suggested schedule, and I know a lot of that is due to every campus is a little bit different. So it's kind of hard to put like an actual real schedule because everyone's needs are different.
Yeah. Basically. Do you mean time? Because we did time it just to see what a typical day would look like. But as Julie mentioned, every campus is different, has specials at different times, lunch at different times. So there's no way to make a schedule that's specific. That's why it's a recommendation, because you can adjust it however you need to for your day. But there's no way to make one schedule for everyone, unfortunately.
And someone mentioned the monthly homework calendar, and that's something that we are working on.
Thank you so much for your suggestions. I'm writing it all down, and we're going to continue to implement everything to make this work easier for you and give you what you want. So for today, we ask that you be present and just try to minimize distractions so you don't miss anything, because some things have changed. Ask questions. There's no silly questions. If you don't feel comfortable, you can always email me, and I'm happy to respond to any and all emails from teachers. So my email is jadam@dallasIC.org, or you can just drop it in the chat. Take care of your needs. If you need to step away, you're free to do so, and just have fun planning for the rest of the year, because there's some fun things coming up. Our agenda for today, we're going to go over a new lesson plan format to hopefully make it easier for you. We're going to do a quick preview of quarter two themes that are coming up, and we're going to talk about our enrichment week, which is the week before we let out for winter break, and we're going to teach holidays around the world. Then we're going to go over some notes that we've made from our walkthroughs. Julie and I do campus visits, and we've just noticed some things across the board that we want to mention, and then we'll have some time for questions. All right, so with our new lesson plan format, you're probably asking why, or some of you already are like, oh, yay, I'm glad, and you know why. But for those who don't, the previous lesson plan was way too long. It was a whopping 17 pages. Hard to print, hard on those printers. So on average, you were having to scroll through 17 pages. After reviewing the lesson plan carefully, we noticed that a lot of elements were repeating, and it was just unnecessary. The 17 pages are overwhelming for a lot of teachers as well. And then we also noticed that some teachers are using the lesson plans instead of using their teacher guides. And the lesson plan is not a substitute for pulling out your TEs. There are questions and information in the TEs that were not on lesson plans, and you're supposed to use your lesson plan as a guide in conjunction with your teacher guides. All right, so as you can see, the lesson plan before was cumbersome. Now, the lesson plan is much more concise. It gives you the information you need with links to additional resources as needed. Let's take a look at how to read the new lesson plan. Up here at the top, you'll notice that we have our theme, sub-theme, and concept question of the week. Below that, you have your morning routines. That consists of arrival procedures, and building communities document is linked here with more specific instructions if necessary. And just below that, you have a list of songs and finger plays. These finger plays are 1 per day. I know that some teachers were unsure if they were supposed to be doing all of them every day, and you don't, it's just 1 per day. On the right-hand side, you'll see the section for breakfast. Below that, you'll see questions to guide your conversations during breakfast. Over the next few weeks, you'll notice these questions relate more to the theme of the week. For this week, we didn't add it here, but you could talk about the vehicles that help provide the food we eat, such as tractors on a farm or delivery trucks that bring our food to market. Now, I have a question for you, and I want you to drop your answers in the chat. Why do you think there are questions during breakfast?
Should I make a big screen?
And make sure your mics are muted.
How do you want us to answer? In the chat?
Yes, please. Or if you want to come off mute, that's fine too.
Okay, so we have cognitive development, social skills, personal engagement in organic conversations, start the day engaging the students right off the bat, vocabulary, reinforcing the vocabulary during the conversations that you're having with the students, maximizing that time, making everything, you know, every instructional moment.
Who said that?
That you have with
Gold star.
Let me go back. They're going through this so fast. I don't know. It's in there somewhere. There's a lot of comments coming through.
Awesome.
A lot of it's the communication, social skills, language development, lots of vocabulary.
Awesome. Thank you guys for that. Those responses. Yes, to all of that and more. So when we're asking questions during breakfast, we're also hitting several dimensions of class. When you have discussions with your students, you are maximizing instructional time, which falls under teacher productivity, connecting their learning to the real world, which falls under concept development. You're also hitting on frequent conversations and open-ended questions, which fall under language modeling. And you're even hitting quality of feedback when you engage in feedback loops and providing information. So awesome. Great job, guys. Just below our morning routines, you will find the morning meeting. We have linked and included a visual of the Brain Smart Start as well as your moving and learning choices, breathing strategies, and daily rituals here. After the morning meeting, you'll see the vocabulary for the unit here under Daily Focus. Each day is listed within a column. So whatever is for day 1 will be listed in this column under day 1. You'll notice the social cultural competence is also still found under day 1 here in this part, this section here. Sorry. And then day 2 will be in that second column, and day 3 and day 4 and so on. So each column is a different day. Below the daily focus, you'll find the morning message routine for each day. And on the left, you'll see the morning message process icon linked here. Below morning message, you'll find the phonological awareness skill for the week. If you need more guidance on how to teach this skill, our phonological awareness skill document is linked here and bookmarked to the skill of the week. Below that, you'll have your letter focus here, and you'll see that the morning message model video is linked here. So if you're not quite sure how to do this in the morning message, if you click there, there is a video of one of our specialists showing you, modeling for you how this should look in your morning circle. Cognitive transitions are here, and they will also be in alignment with the phonological awareness skill of the week. And remember, all of your transitions should be cognitive transitions. The previous lesson plan had a note for teachers under each block. Now the notes are linked here for all of the blocks. So wherever it used to say teach take note, this is one page document that has all 3 blocks with information for you there. On the left-hand side, you will see the learning outcomes and success criteria for each block, and each learning block is denoted by the corresponding color for that block. So you'll see literacy is red, math is green, and language is blue. If we look at day 1 here, you'll see that the learning skill for that lesson here, it's read aloud comprehension. Then you'll have the name of the card you'll need to pull from the curriculum. For large group, it's going to be your teacher guide. So this is what it looks like. You're going to take your folder and pull out your teacher guide. So you'll notice here that the numbers here will tell you the theme, the week, and the day. Okay, so on your teacher guide, teacher card, you'll see this will be theme 2, week 4, day 1. So day 1 is 2.4.1. Day 2, 2.4.2. Day 3, 2.4.3. Day 4, 2.4.4. Day 5, 2.4.5. Okay, and it's the same for your small group cards too. So it will tell you what small group cards you need to pull. Now, for those of you who have not pulled your small group cards, this is what they look like when you take them out of the pack. And each of them has the small group card number listed there as well. Okay. So it will give you a description of the lesson focus and book name, but it's important that you're pulling your teacher guides because it's going to tell you exactly how to open your circle, what questions to ask, and what pages to stop on. The information is the same for all the small group cards, as I mentioned before. Under each block focus, you'll find your IPCs linked here. Okay, so right here, this is the math weekly focus. Your math IPC is linked there. Under literacy, that's the literacy IPC for that week. And then under language, you'll find the language IPC linked. On the 3rd page, you'll find the closing meeting here and the ELD for bilingual classrooms here. And on the final page, we've included the center's planning document here. You can find centers right here linked at the top. And then we've also added a section with progress monitoring sheets for you to choose from. So remember, it's important to progress monitor consistently to inform your instruction and small groups. Before I move on, does anyone have any questions? You can drop them in the chat. Okay, I'm going to move on unless Julie says otherwise.
So Ms. Gonzalez, I believe, or Garcia Gonzalez, said she really liked the progress monitoring sheet, so she said thank you.
You're welcome. That was your specialist, your wonderful pre-K specialist came up with that and put it together. And I said, you know what, that's so wonderful. Let's put it here. I think it's super helpful.
And there's a question about phonological awareness, if it will be included in Spanish.
That is a great question. We will have to get with our partners in the dual language department to see if they're able to provide that. Yeah, because we are in partnership with them, so they help us to make sure that we provide those resources for you. And they're working on some things right now, so I will write that down to follow up with them. Okay. All right, so for quarter two, we're just going to briefly go over this because I know we want to spend more time on the holiday lesson plan. But these are some of the themes that you're going to see for quarter two. Quarter two is going to run from October 9th until December 21st. This quarter is 10 weeks because we have fall break, October 11th through the 13th, or 16th if you count our Fair Day PD day, and Thanksgiving break, which is November 20th through the 24th. Since we have a limited amount of time, I'm going to briefly mention some of these themes that are coming up. Quarter two spans 4 different themes. The first week of quarter two finishes out theme 2, our community. I'm sorry, doesn't finish it out. It continues with theme 2, week 3. When you click on the book icon, it will take you to this page. Theme 2, our community. As a reminder, you can get lesson plans by clicking on the lessons link here. And to get to the centers, you click on the centers icon here in the corner. And here's a preview of the books that you will be reading that week. So this is the next unit, or continuing the current unit. On October 9th, we're going to continue theme 2. Week 3 is helpers. The concept question is, who are the people in our community? This week ends October 11th because October 12th and 13th are fair days and considered fall break. Teachers have PD Monday, October 16th. And when we come back from fall break, we will finish out theme 2 with vehicles at work. The concept question is, what vehicles do we know about? How do they help us? So on fair day, our PD session that we are hosting is called Getting Classy with Instruction. You can scan this bit.ly QR code and it'll take you to Cornerstone, or you can type in this bit.ly, bit.ly/gettingclassy. Or you can just go to Cornerstone and search it as well. So you will have to sign up for this for Fair Day. It is a virtual session. There are 2 time slots as well. And in order, when you scan this, you're going to need to use your Dallas ISD credentials. So if you're not logged in on your phone, you may want to just copy that bit.ly down so that you can do it later from your computer. Julie, do you mind dropping that link in the chat as well?
Yeah, I can. We did have a couple of questions. Someone asked if some of the books are available digitally.
I wish they were. I really wish they were. These are not. Unfortunately, Scholastic does not offer these digitally. I've asked to try to digitize them, but for licensing purposes, we're not able to. So we don't have them digital. But I do have good news when we come to the holidays week. So hopefully that'll help.
And then there was a question about, let me see if I can go back to it. Theme 2, week 3. I think that was the one. Actually, so that comment I was looking for is, oh, there it is. Okay. It was theme 2, week 4, does not consider the PD day. Do we just skip the day that we choose?
No, so when you look at the lesson plan, we will have grayed out that first day. So you'll start on whatever day we have it started on the lesson plan. So I'm not sure how we did it. I have to go back and check, but normally if we come back on like a Tuesday, we would start day 1 on Tuesday instead of skipping day 1 because day 1 introduces the theme. So that's typically how it is, but is it up there already? I'm not sure. But yeah, it will just gray out that day. It should gray out that day. If it's not, just start with day 1. All right, so another option for Fair Day PD, which is Monday, October 16th, is exploring literacy with iPad. You can scan this or copy this bit.ly down to register later. Actually, I think it's full, but you can add yourself to the wait list. This is a face-to-face session, and there were only 20 spots available. So they are taking a wait list. If people withdraw, then you will be added to that registration. Okay, when students return from fall break, they will begin their unit called Let's Investigate. Theme 3, week 1, students are exploring with their 5 senses. The concept question of the week is, what can we learn from using our senses? Week 2, students will be learning all about weather. Concept question of the week is, how can weather affect us? Build excitement for learning by going outside and experience the weather. Last year during this particular week, we had a rainy week during the unit. So it was a perfect time to integrate what we learned in the 5 senses week with weather. This week happens to be Halloween. So I wonder if you wanted to incorporate the theme of weather, I'm sorry, how could you incorporate the theme of weather if you wanted to also talk about Halloween? How could you talk about weather as well? Or even the 5 senses, if you wanted to integrate the 5 senses.
How would you dress for Halloween?
How would you dress for Halloween?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Costume.
And I will say in the Midwest, I grew up in Chicago, it is snowy sometimes on Halloween. So your costumes are covered by coats and it's not fun. So that's good. How would you dress for Halloween, depending on the weather?
Yeah, we talked about it today. We talked about the changing of the leaves and the fact that it was still dark this morning. It's like how it's not as bright and it's raining. Put
Thank you.
to context. So they're like, it's gonna be, so that's how we're kind of building it in a little bit so far.
Awesome. Thank you. Are there any more, Julie? I know you could also integrate it with the previous week 5 senses by, asking if they were gonna dig out, carve their pumpkins, and how does that feel? How does it taste? Did they try to bake the pumpkin seeds? Did they try the pumpkin? Did they make pumpkin pie? So you could integrate it with 5 senses as well.
Yeah, there was comparing the hot and cold, having to use a flashlight to be able to see.
Because it's dark outside, maybe.
And lots about the costume and what I would wear. And then someone also said incorporating safety.
Yeah, you would have to incorporate safety for sure. So great, those are great. Thank you for that. Oops, sorry. Week 3, students will learn about size. The concept question of the week is, how do we measure how big, how much, or how many? And week 4, students will be learning about how things move. The concept question of the week is, how can we make things go? for quarter 3, lesson plans are here. You'll click on that, it'll take you, these are the books that we'll be reading in theme 3, Let's Investigate. And just as a reminder, you click here to get to lessons. They're coming soon, Monday at the latest. I'm going to try and get them up tomorrow, end of day, and centers as well. So to give you just a overall sneak peek of centers, I just put them up here for you. And I'm going to take 20 seconds between each, 15 seconds between each to show you the next few centers. So you can take a look at what's to come for 5 senses, weather it, measure it, and make it move. These are your centers for ABC as well as art. These are centers for math and construction. So if you want to take a picture of those, you're welcome to do so as well. We are working on getting these translated. I know that might be the next question. They're working on it. Library, listening, pretend and learn. For pretend and learn, the themes are downtown skyline, laundromat, state fair, or weather station. And as a reminder, you would keep this up for the entire 4 weeks of the unit Let's Investigate and just make small changes between each week, depending on what's here.
All these are still available in Curriculum Central, right?
That's right. These are screen grabs from Curriculum Central. And this one I don't think is linked yet, but it will be end of day tomorrow or Monday at the latest.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then writing and science as well. Okay. After that, theme 4 is discover animals. Week 1 is animal families. The concept question of the week is how do animals help their babies learn, live, and grow? Week 2 is caring for pets. The concept question of the week is how can we help animals stay healthy? And week 3 is about where different animals live. The concept question of the week is what is it like where animals live? So when you click here on theme 4, it's going to take you to the lesson plans and centers coming soon. Here's a sneak peek of the books that you will be reading. And now for what I'm excited about is holidays around the world. So for our enrichment week, the week before we let out for winter break, we're going to teach holidays around the world. The concept question of the week is how are holidays celebrated around the world? To get to this, you will click on these characters here for the enrichment week. This is what it will look like. These are the books that I have selected for the lesson plan. And it's important to know if you have your own books that you want to use that are related to the theme and are age appropriate, you're welcome to use those instead. I have found books that are all either available on books through Clever or they're available, they're linked to YouTube read alouds. So none of these books, you're gonna be able to access all of these books one way or another. The goal is to have everything available in Spanish. The books are going to be different. I don't know that all these books come in Spanish. If you have book recommendations for these particular holidays, you're welcome to shoot them my way. I'm happy to incorporate those as well and look for digital versions of those books. So you can see, as you can see here, day 1, we will first start with Christmas, which is a holiday a lot of students are familiar with. Second day, we'll talk about Hanukkah. The third day, we will talk about Kwanzaa. The fourth day, we will talk about the Chinese New Year, Chinese or Lunar New Year, or Spring Festival. And the fifth day, we will talk about Diwali. And there are only 2 books on this day because this is an early release day, so we won't have time for 3 blocks that day. All right, so this is important. There's on the first page of the lesson plan, which I'm going to show you live, is this considerations block. Okay, since we're teaching about holidays and some are religious in nature, we have included this note. It's important to be mindful that not all families celebrate holidays and may not want their children to participate in certain activities. If that's the case for your student, you can spiral the previous unit and reteach where necessary. The main thing to note here is it says, in an effort to recognize equitable experiences and diversity, we will be looking at different holidays around the world. When teaching about holidays at school, it's important to know that we're focusing on the traditions and cultural similarities and differences of various holidays. We're not focusing on religion, nor are we placing an emphasis or priority on any holiday over another. And the main pre-K guideline we are targeting here is the social studies one for those who are wanting more social studies. And that's 7A1, child identifies similarities and differences between himself and others through characteristics and social influences. And in the child behaviors, you'll see it says, this child may compare own customs, traditions, and culture with those of a character represented in a read aloud story. So throughout the entire week, you'll see a lot of comparisons. So we're comparing how is Hanukkah similar to Kwanzaa? How is Kwanzaa similar to Chinese New Year, and vice versa? How are they similar? How are they different? What traditions are similar? What traditions are different? So when you do click on that enrichment week and you click on lesson plans, it's going to take you here. And I'm going to click on it. I'm going to take you to a live view. So are you able to see this lesson plan?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me if it's too small. Is that okay? Okay, so here you will see it's yellow. This is the color that we're using, that's Scholastic Yellow for any enrichment weeks, anything that we create here. Under Arrival, there are finger plays that I found for each of the various holidays. So each day you will do the finger play. These are videos modeled for you, not really videos to show the kids unless you really think it's wonderful, but they're really more for you to learn the finger play. If you feel you need it, you're welcome to use it. Under breakfast, we're discussing holiday foods around the world. We're discussing Christmas cookies, and there's usually a feast with turkey or roast and mashed potatoes. In Hanukkah, we're talking about latkes, which are fried potato pancakes meant to symbolize the miracle of Hanukkah. Some people, and then so each holiday, we try to include something that you can talk about the food that is consumed for that holiday as tradition. In the morning meeting here, under Unite, there's this Go Noodle video that it actually, he goes around the world visiting different parts of the country to celebrate the various holidays. So that's a good like intro, and it's a movement the kids can get up. And then I wanted to show you on the moving and learning choice board over here at the after theme 8, I've added holidays around the world. And here you'll find the finger plays as well as various songs or movement songs that students can listen to during your morning circle. So we have some for Christmas, some for Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Chinese New Year, and Diwali. So some of these are really great, especially the breathing strategies. So here, there's Santa breathing. Breathe like, she models how to breathe like Santa Claus. And then fireworks breath is really great too. So be sure to watch those ahead of time. For our daily focus here, I've added the English vocabulary words here. We'll add some Spanish as well. And then each day has a different holiday. So you'll see here, this is Christmas, this is Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Chinese New Year, and Diwali. And so I've included the date of the holidays. Some holidays change based on a specific calendar. So like Hanukkah changes every year based on the Hebrew calendar. Chinese New Year is changed based on the lunar calendar. And then Diwali is also changed by the Indian Shaka calendar. So I try to add a lot of information for you guys as well as videos. So if you click on these specific titles, I've linked a History Channel video for you to increase your knowledge of those holidays. So there's one for Kwanzaa, one for Chinese New Year, Diwali, Christmas, and Hanukkah. Okay, these are not for the children, these are for you. So please don't play these for the children. They will not listen very long. So I try to include the traditions that are practiced for each of these holidays here. The morning message as well relates to those holidays. And then for literacy, language, and math, I've added a book. So I showed you earlier, they're linked here as well. So here you would just click and it'll take you, if you're logged in through Clever, I'm not logged in, it'll take you to that book. And then the same with these other ones as well. So you're free to get the book from the library, purchase the book if you feel so inclined, or you can use these read alouds that I've included here for you. We also added some questioning at the bottom since there are no teacher guides for this. It's an enrichment week. The questions are at the bottom here. You'll also notice your learning objectives and success criteria on the left. So for literacy, we're focusing on comparing our customs and traditions and culture with the character represented in the read aloud. And I really tried to find books where we could focus on math for the math block. So a lot of them are either counting objects or measuring by size. So for instance, one of the books here, which one was it? I forgot already. Little Red Ruthie, A Hanukkah Tale. It's like Little Red Riding Hood. And then there's this other one, and that's not the one about size. It's Goldilocks and the Three Pandas, where they have like the different size things. And Latka, the lucky dog, how the family wanted a medium-sized dog, and so talking about what medium means and just comparing sizes. But even these two books that I mentioned, you can relate them back to books that the students already know. D is for Dragon Dance is like an alphabet book, but it hits on different traditional elements, if that makes sense, for the Chinese New Year and culture. And then you have your closing meeting here. I'm waiting for dual language to add the ELD part here. And then it is an early release day. Any questions about this?
Do lesson plans contain links to possible tablet activities or other apps?
Tablet activities, not as of right now. No, not as of right now. They don't have any tablet activities. I would just say continue using My Math Academy for your tablet needs. And then this is what Centers is going to look like. It's going to look a little bit different because this theme changes every day. Each one of these is going to be one day. So the theme for Christmas is on one day, and it's going to have an activity for each center for that theme. And it's going to be the same we're still working on them, so this is your preview, but we'll have one for each holiday. All right. Are there any more questions before we move on to walkthroughs? So Julie and I have been doing walkthroughs of various campuses, and there are different things that we've noticed. And so we just wanted to bring it to your attention and just let you know about some best practices. Okay, so first, we noticed a trend that some teachers have their Pretend and Learn centers closed. The Pretend and Learn Center is an important part of a student's social emotional development. Be sure to discuss putting materials back where they go ahead of time, and we have pre-planned centers so that you can leave up your theme for an entire 4-week unit. with just some minor changes from week to week. So please use those ideas to transform your pretend and learn centers. And we're looking for teachers to scream the theme in their classroom. That means we should know what you're teaching without having to ask. When we walk into your classroom, we should know that you're teaching measurement because it's in every center. We can see it. The next major thing is that 4-year-old students should not be tracing. 3 and 4-year-olds should not be tracing. An X-ray of a developed hand around the age of 6 or 7 compared to an early years foundation stage, birth to age 5, is pretty informative. You can develop handwriting in an age-appropriate way that is matched to a child's physical development. That means students should be finger writing in the sand, forming Play-Doh letters, comparing curved line and straight line letters, matching letters using clothespins, lacing and threading, building with blocks, picking up small objects, and doing other activities to develop their grasp and fine motor skills, as well as postural control. So we should not be seeing any tracing sheets or worksheets, and this is everywhere.
Question. I'm sorry, just want to know. So are they able to use just blank papers with the exemplar of their name and try to write their name based upon what they see? Is that
Yes.
okay?
Yes, lots of blank paper. So lots of blank paper, nothing with lines on it. It should be blank. You can put their name at the top, but they should not be tracing their name. They can see what the name is supposed to look like, or you can even show them their name tag or their name from the letter wall and give them that. And that can be what they look at to try and look at the formation of the letters. But as long as they're not tracing.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Great question. And I will say this too. I want you to think about if I told you all to draw a circle the size of a dime. Actually draw 10 circles the size of a dime each. And then I want you to go in that circle and I want you to write the first letter of your name inside that circle. And then write the second letter of your name inside that second circle and continue until you finished your name, right? What would your focus be on? It would be on staying inside that circle, right? It's not on forming the letters. And so that's the problem with worksheets is that students are so focused on remaining on the line, they're not thinking about the letter C being formed with a curved line or the letter K being formed with straight lines. So we want to shift their focus to how the letters formed and not staying on a line, if that makes sense. Centers are also available for you to print and go in Curriculum Central. During walkthroughs, we've seen some classrooms that put out manipulatives with no purpose at all. And we've been very intentional to align the activities in Curriculum Central with the curricular theme for the week, as well as the pre-K guidelines. So we've done the work for you, just use it. That's all we ask. We've seen some teachers also using the Estrellita K1 program. And this program was designed for students in kinder through first grade. There's no research behind it being in pre-K. In pre-K, our focus is phonological awareness, not phonics. So this program should not be used because it is not developed for pre-K. It was developed for kinder and first grade students. When putting things up in your classroom, like student artwork or classmate anchor charts, make sure to place them at children's eye level. So just remember anything that is for students is at their line of sight. Anything above their line of sight is for adults. Okay, so if you're putting anchor charts, student work, and it's all the way 6 feet in the air, it's not for students, it's for adults. So make sure anything that's for them is at their eye level. We want to make sure that you're using the curriculum with fidelity. So it's important to take out your teacher guides and use them as you are leading your whole group instruction. A few times I've gone into classrooms and the curriculum is nowhere in sight. We provided you with a lesson plan, but it's your responsibility to read through the teacher guides, read through the small group cards, and prepare materials well in advance. One thing you could do if you cannot hold a book and a teacher guide at the same time is write your questions from the teacher guide on Post-its and place it in the book where you're supposed to pause and ask questions to students. You want higher scores from your appraiser? When you finish your read aloud, make sure to ask higher order thinking questions. Refer to Bloom's taxonomy to help you develop deeper questions. Try to get students to metacognition, that thinking about their thinking. One of my favorite questions is, how do you know? How do you know that's an orange and not an apple? Because it gets them thinking about it. Well, I know because an orange is orange and it tastes different, right? So getting them to think about their thinking. You can use these question stems to help. And Julie's going to drop this link in the chat. So I do agree, there are not enough deep questions with our curriculum, but it's your job to plan higher order thinking questions for your students. Know where they are and try to get them to these deeper critical thinking stages here. So you can take a picture, or Julie, did you drop it in the chat?
Yes, it's in the chat.
Thank you so much. So Julie dropped it in the chat. So use that when planning your questions, just thinking about having those question stems in your mind. Why do you think that? How do you know? What do you think would happen if, that's using, getting them to predict something that's going to happen. Let's plan. If you wanted to create a whatever, let's make a plan. How would you do it? So think about asking your students more of these questions as well. So I hope that helped a little bit. And let me know if you have questions about that as well. I wanted to put up some important dates for you all. So you can take a picture of this slide if you'd like. Obviously, everyone knows Fair Days are coming up, so I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. Fair Day PD is October 16th, which is a Monday. November 7th there's another PD session, and we're waiting for the details from the Department of Professional and Digital Learning. So once we have more information, we'll post that to Curriculum Central. We're not sure the location or what it's going to be on just yet, but that information is coming soon. Thanksgiving break is November 20th through the 24th. Our next QCT is going to be at the same time, December 5th. I'm sorry I did not choose this time. I know it's inconvenient. I was a teacher, so I apologize. I didn't choose it. It was given to me, so don't shoot the messenger. But it will be December 5th, same time. And February 24th, I'm happy to announce we are having our first ever pre-K conference. So I'm really excited about that. Yes, ma'am.
If they've already been waitlisted on the October 16th PD, will more slots be added?
More slots are not going to be added just because of size constraints of the room. I did ask, but you can add yourself to the wait list. So if people do drop out, they will add you if spots become available. They are not adding more spots just because of the size of the space that they have. Other options for PD, if you're looking, there's a Scream the Theme PD asynchronous course in Cornerstone. And there's also Getting Started with My Math Academy. So if you're new to the grade and you've never used My Math Academy, or you did not attend the New Teacher Academy that we just had a couple of weeks ago, I would definitely check that out, the My Math Academy PD in Cornerstone. So our pre-K conference theme has been chosen, and it will be posted soon once the invitation is finalized. But this is the date. I want you to save the date, Saturday, February 24th from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. It is a full day of fun. We're going to have keynote, giveaways. We're going to have 4 different PD sessions that you can attend, as well as a closing ceremony. So it's going to be lots of fun, and our first ever pre-K conference we're really excited about. You will get 5 hours of PD credit for attending the conference for the full day. If you only attend for part of the day, you would get credit for the sessions that you attend. So the keynote counts as 1 session, and the 4 session blocks also count as individual sessions as well. Once we have more information on those sessions, we'll post them to Curriculum Central. We want to get an idea of about how many teachers will attend. So if you don't mind going to Curriculum Central and just fill out this poll with your attendance intention, if you intend to come for a full day, part of the day, or not at all. That way we can plan for how many teachers are going to come. So we do have almost 700 teachers, pre-K teachers in the district, so we need to know whether to plan for 700, 300, or 100. Okay, so that would help us a lot. If you have any questions, again, you can visit this tiny URL, DISD PK FAQ.